Recently, I have been exploring orbs and thinking that maybe they're showing us the sound emanations that are in the air. And so I want to show you just a little collection of different orbs that seem to me to be vibrating to the sound of the music. Now this first one is We Are the World by Michael Jackson. Well, it's sung by Michael Jackson, but sung by many singers. I'm going to let you listen to a little of several. Okay, that's enough of that one. Now I will bring up the violin music one. Okay, now to put that one down and bring up the one, oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, I will bring this one up and I will tell you what it is as soon as I hear it. I think it's the one of the preacher. Come on. No. Oh no. This is a young boy who sings Tell Me Why. That one's breaking up somewhat, so I'm gonna go to a different one. Now, this next one, let's see, 6751. This one is the preacher preaching hell and fire and brimstone. back down. I'm not saying what I think these mean. I have no idea. But I just want you to hear different ones. Now this next one is a lot of children singing. Okay, take that one back down, and let's see, the next one will be, have I done 6, 7, 5, 2, no, 6, 7, okay, I'll do one that's Bashar, 6, 7, 5, 4, Bashar channels A being, well, that's the name of the channel being, is Bashar. Daryl Anchor.
December 21st represents the crossing of a threshold, the pushing through of a boundary of a bound-shot way. So that before that time, even though your world may have been collectively a little bit more negative than positive, after that time, it will finally be, for the first time in a long time, a little bit more collectively positive than negative. Now, this does not mean that just because we have tipped the scales that way, that everything is going to be, as we say in your language, peaches and cream the next day. But the idea is that you'll begin to be able to create a momentum, what you would call a snowball effect. You can build upon that positive energy that you have tipped the scales to create, and you can build and build and build and amplify and magnify that energy from that point forward.
I didn't record a whole lot of that one because there was a lot of music in the background or something in the background of that. But that interferes with just the voice. So often people put music in the background of things. Well, this is me. I'll let you see this one. I'm reading the Dove story here. See if it comes on. So I wanted to see what my own voice sounded like. Now I'll get going.
Show a picture here of me saying that I want to help the world be a happy place. And thus begins the Dove story. The words on the pictures are the actual words that came through to me from Spirit.
I lost hold of the camera there for a second. I had to get it back.
Children's version.
But here it goes. There it is
Some
back.
of the words that Spirit gave me are a little bit on the esoteric side and maybe not too understandable. But what I'm going to do is read both. And here's the square of paper we start with. This square of paper represents everything that can be seen. It is yourself, the trees, the animals, the insects, the ocean, the hills, the moon, etc. Think of it as all that is. Now for the words that Spirit gave me. We start out with an empty sheet. What we make out of it is a flying dove, and with the dove we will soar to heights not reached before. As you fold this paper into a dove, you will take a little trip back through time. You see this square, all that is, wanted to look at itself from the viewpoint of being a smaller part of itself, such as you and me. Looking at our
So that one was me reading the Dove story. Now, just to get something on the screen while I continue to talk, I think I will do the One God. I love this one. I don't know if I played this one yet. I love this song. This is such a beautiful song. And now Barbara Streisand. Now, I will continue this one to be what you see, but turn the volume down and tell you a little bit about what I'm doing here. What I do is I use my camera and I look through a glint of light from a marble. A clear, well, not clear exactly. None of my marbles are without bubbles and flaws on them. But the little glints of light that the marble catches, I use my camera and focus up real close, and I get the orb, and it's full of color. Now, if my camera is stationary, the orb stays pretty much still, and the colors move, but way more slowly they move. And I do have a video that shows that on my YouTube channel. But when I hold it in my hand, which I like to do that better, it's way more interesting, you get the movement. And I think that that is necessary to get the movement, because the movement is, to my way of thinking, how we see things best, because everything is moving. We're moving, it's moving, and it's rather unlike reality to just keep it still and focused on the orb with your camera still. Now, some people think that makes for a better test. Maybe they have something to prove about what this is, you know. I'm not real concerned about proving anything, what anything is. I see this light, whether or not my camera focuses on it through looking at through the glass, not through the glass, but through a glint of shininess on the edge of the marble. But in reality, I also see in the same way with my eyes without the aid of the camera. Only what I see then is pretty much different. In some ways it's just like this that the camera's getting, but in other ways it's different. And I can look and see a sort of a landscape as I move up the marble, glint of the marble, up and down the spectrum of light as it goes out from the light source. And there's so much activity in the light and so many colors that come into play. Now, some would argue that this is just something marbles do. And cameras do. And I know when you look at this, you see some little places that stay right where they are, so that my conclusion is that they are part of something that's in the camera. Maybe debris, maybe not. I don't know what they really are. But I'm just not trying to figure that out just yet. Because way more important is, what am I capturing with all this light activity? And I only have theories and hypotheses to offer. I don't know anything for a fact. But I do think, because I do see it with my natural eyes, and these little orbs, when I'm looking at them with my natural eyes, unaided by the camera, they are very liquid-like, with things floating around that you don't see in these pictures, but that I see. Things that I also see just outside in the daytime against the blue sky, little tube-like things. The man who built the Coral Castle, Ed, and I can't pronounce his last name, he saw things that he called chromosomes in the air that looked like little beads strung together. That is one explanation of what they look like. But to me, they look like way more than just little beads, because I've looked at them now for quite a long while, and I don't think they're really out there in space in the way that we would imagine, like that's 2 feet away and that's 15 feet away or whatever. Because when I see them, I can hold my hand up and see them on my hand, and then move my hand closer to my face and they're still there. So they're not at a distance away from my eyes. And sometimes I think, well, they're not really out there in front of my eyes. They're inside. They're inside me. When we see, it's something that is what our brain does on the inside of our head. And all that seems to be out there is really inside of us. And I know that's a big, hard one to grasp, that idea that everything is illusion. And that is because the illusion has all of the solidness of touching something, tasting something, feeling something, being hurt by something. And it's pretty darn hard to imagine that it is illusion that we're looking at. It would be almost impossible to imagine it if there weren't people in this world who have transcended this looking only at the illusion. I mean, I've seen a video of some men that would go into these Arctic places where they had to break the ice just to jump in the water, which, well, that right there would kill most people to get that cold so quickly. But these men have trained their minds, and the water being cold doesn't bother them. And as a matter of fact, it even gets warm and bubbles up around them like they heated it up. And they had to have done it with their mind. And so if any one person can do something like this, well, it's a doable thing. And just because most people can't is no reason to say that it is not a possibility. Most people aren't going to even try. They have no desire to try to do that. I'm one of them. I'm not going to jump in some cold ice water. But I will do other things, like study the orbs and keep my mind open as to what it could be that I'm looking at, and not follow the usual trains of thought that people have that keep them in their boxes. We can think outside the box. But when we think outside the box, be careful you don't just make another box. Because people get caught up in their belief systems, and when they change them, they get caught up in another belief system. We need to keep open-minded. We don't have to say yay or nay on anything we believe. Mostly, we can say, okay, I consider that, and I will keep mindful of that, but I don't have to make an absolute statement and say, yes, that is definitely true. People who do that become zealots, and that's never a good thing. to become overzealous of something in the extreme makes you someone who can be even dangerous. But keep an open mind. When you look at these videos, if you have some understanding of what I'm looking at with these orbs, feel free to comment. I would love to hear from you. Maybe you know. Maybe you have had experience with this. But if you haven't, before you say any negative thing, please do check it out. Try it yourself. It's a very easy experiment. All you have to do is super glue or use some hot glue or something, but get some marbles together, at least 5 or 6 marbles. And get your camera, move it up to as close as you want to. You can get it so big that it fills the whole screen and you're looking at the orb, but not seeing the outer edges because you've got it so close up. I have a few pictures like that. And then you can get it where it's further away. But I think you lose some of the definition when you get it up too close. And when you do orbs, either outside or inside, sometimes they have the shape not of a circle but of a pentagon. I've shown several orbs, and they always have this little round circle, a couple of them, or maybe 3, maybe more, around the perimeter of them, be they shaped round or be they shaped like the pentagon. It's a very fascinating experiment. I don't know of any others who are also exploring this, but I think it could be that I'm looking at something that we don't have instruments to look at, something this tiny. It's a photon of light that I'm sure I'm looking at, but what is it that is in it? I don't know. You know, always people, the physicists are coming up with smaller and smaller things inside the atom until they think, well, will it ever end? And they think they've seen the quark, but some of the things they name and say they've seen, they've only conjectured that they're there. And I really wish they would look at this, because there is so much to be seen in these, and so much that needs to be researched, I think. Now I'm researching it as good as I'm able to, and I will continue to do this, and I hope you will keep up with me and lend me your comments or your advice or your encouragement, whatever. It always helps when people seem to be interested in what you're interested in. It helps to hear from them. And this is the Dove Lady, and this is all for now. Get back with you later. Love you all, and bye-bye.